You are now listening to Between Us Girls, the podcast, where we discuss life's fuckeries and then some over wine.
Hey, welcome to our show. This is Michelle.
Danielle.
And Sharonda.
And this is
Between Us Girls.
And tonight we have a special guest with us to talk with us a little bit about what she's been doing in the Muslim community here locally. And her name is Shatha. And once we get done running through our business, we'll introduce her and we'll get into the show. But first, Sharonda, can you please tell these people how to donate to the Between Us Girls
Make
Fund?
it rain, trick. Make it rain, trick. I don't know. That's why that came to mind.
I don't know either.
I'm thinking about making it rain, and you should too. And if you'd like to donate to our wonderful cause, you can go to www.patreon.com/BetweenUsGirls.
Between Us Girls.
And if you donate enough, Michelle will finally finish that song. Because she's been singing that hook.
Yeah, almost a year now.
Yeah.
She'll write lyrics.
I'll finally write lyrics when I have the money to.
We will lay down a track.
If I didn't have to keep going to work, I could write the song.
Right. Every day.
So, coming up in August, we have...
Yeah, like that's next month.
No, but really, though, it's actually kind of coming because I remember last year, whenever they first started talking about it, I was like, we have like
that is so far.
like 10 months, and now it's like only 8. Okay.
Did you
it's,
say that
it's
out
come
loud?
far.
Okay, yeah. So
Anyway, but it's to get you time to donate to us so we can have the coins and you can get your coins together so you can go.
and join us.
Yeah, we're going to be at the Modern Love Podcast Convention in New Orleans, August 10th through August 12th. Write those dates down.
Okay.
Isn't it crazy that someone invited us to do something?
Yeah, I know. It's like really cool. So go to the website, pattern.love.com, and get your tickets. Oh, it's just pattern.love.
It's the weirdest website ever.
It's no .com, right? www.pattern.love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can buy whatever extension you want to, but that's weird.
I want a .love website address.
Well, if your show is going to be called Pattern Love, I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so...
You know what we should have done? Between Us Girls.
That's a hard no.
Maybe?
It's
No.
okay.
Okay.
Try again next time.
Yeah.
You're so pretty.
I'm not the new...
Anyway, when you go to the website, you can use the coupon code GIRLS to get 10% off.
How much are the tickets? Okay.
Go to the
So
website.
go to the website and use...
Dang.
All right. So our fan of the week this week is Adrienne Alexander from our Facebook group.
What?
And the reason why she is being honored with this prestigious award
So prestigious.
is because she posts every day, several times a day.
Exclusive.
And some of y'all don't even come in. So she's going above and beyond. Thank you, Adrienne. Now you just have to listen to the show.
Wow. And we appreciate you, especially when you
Actually listen to the show.
She's a great member of the community.
Yes. Thank you for being a member of our community. And the thing is that because she posts so much, if she listened to the show and she posted a note about the show, others might follow suit.
But first she has to.
Listen to the show.
All right.
So,
Just so we're clear.
Sharonda, what are we sipping on?
Well, this evening, ladies and gentlemen, we are sipping on a Phoebus Torontes.
Why do we always have the wrong pronunciation of something?
What? That's not what that says.
Oh.
Like
It says Phoebus. You know what it reminds me of?
I think it's
Beezus and Ramona and Beezus.
Ramona and Beezus.
You remember Ramona? Beverly Cleary books.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. You went way back. I had to dig in my memory. Okay, there
Well,
it is.
it's been a long time since I've read. I mean, you guys can join the book club.
I don't read. Looking at Okay. Anyway, so this is vintage 2017. It's an Argentinian white. And let's look at this alcohol content. Drum roll, please. It is
Danielle, you have
enough
to do it.
for Michelle to turn up at 13.5%.
I instantly was like, what? I thought it was going to be like 15. She's like 13.5. I'm like, womp, womp, womp.
At
Which
least
is
it's
still
not
a lot.
10,
Which is
though.
still a lot.
That's a lot for a white.
It's not 12.
I remember that time I came in here with an 11%, and I was like, I'm mad at myself.
Because I didn't even check that
I'm
before I
mad
brought
at
it in
me.
here. What's wrong with me?
Okay, so
Oh, God.
we're going to rate the wine on appearance, aroma, body, finish, and taste.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to rate it from 1 to 5 in each category, and then we'll add and average our scores together at the end. Cumulative high score of 25.
All right.
Okay. So the moment we've all been waiting for.
Doom, doom, doom.
So today's guest is a young woman who's made a lot of progress in a short time in the local Muslim community. And she's going to join us today to talk about her program and hopefully shed some light on some things for those of us who do not understand Islam. Welcome, Shatha.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Darren. And so Danielle's going to just low-key butcher your name a little bit for the remainder of the night.
Right.
Okay, so I know we talked a little bit about this, but we want to ask on the record, what is your zodiac sign so we can properly stereotype you?
I am a Libra.
Okay, so you guys get what you want.
Balanced and fair.
And they're very balanced and fair.
Yeah.
And calm.
I don't think I live with the right kind of Libras then.
What kind of Libras do you have?
Man,
Do you have more than one?
2 of them. My sister and my son.
And they're not just really like calm and
Girl,
peaceful.
I don't know what's wrong.
My brother's a Libra, and he's really just like, yeah, man. Where are you?
Maybe it's the Roy blood.
The royal
Boils
it
up.
boils.
Gets people riled up. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your program. So can you tell me what it is? Like, give us a background of everything that you're doing.
All right, so recently I started a program at my local mosque called Young Muslims, and it's a national organization that it started probably early 2000s, and they're everywhere around the United States. And so in every mosque there's just there's some for boys and there's some for girls, and basically it's just to get people together and teach them about their religion. And there's socials, and we bring food, and it's a good way to bring members of the Muslim community together and try to emphasize unity and brotherhood, sisterhood, things like that.
Okay, that's
Cool.
pretty cool.
Is it focused on a certain age group?
Well, it's 13 to 25, so
Okay.
we try to focus on the youth.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
awesome.
cool. I mean, because that's kind of the age range where you sort of, puberty, post-pubescent, where you kind of need guidance.
Yeah.
You sort of
Trying to
don't know.
find
Finding
yourself.
yourself.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's good to have somebody kind of go, wait a minute, this is kind of where you need to be.
Come
Plus,
here, brethren, come.
Yeah, a lot of people like to say the youth is the future. So I mean, if you got to work on the youth to have a better future,
There you go.
Amen. And you're so young to have that mentality. I feel like every time we have a young woman on our show, they're so woke.
And just mentally, I wasn't there at that age. I know I was
know.
mature, but not this mature.
I wasn't mature.
I
was
didn't care about
whatever.
kids at church. I was like, ugh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was not.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I was amazing.
Okay.
And the lies continue to roll off of her tongue. Anyway,
I know. I can't even. I just rolled my eyes so far back in my head.
she flung her hair, guys, when she did that. Michelle did.
Okay, so how do you think we can make changes in conversation in regards to Islam, to make people more aware so that, people understand that it's not an aggressive religion?
So I think a lot of it falls on the lack of knowledge. If if everyone were to believe what they see on the media or what they read on the news, then they're constantly going to believe that that's the only thing that's true. So if if you're fed a lie every single day of your life, you're going to grow up believing that that's the only thing that is true.
Right.
So it goes the same with learning about a religion, or it doesn't even have to be a religion when you're studying math, for example. If you're taught 1 + 1 is 3, you're going to believe that.
Yeah.
Honestly,
you know, regardless of 1 + 1 is 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like in conversation, and like a lot of it is our duties as Muslims to educate people that are sort of ignorant to the topic, that it's not, I mean, Islam itself falls on peace and unity, and we don't exclude ourselves. We're not like, oh, we can only help Muslim brothers and sisters, you know? We reach out to everyone and anyone in the community. So I think a lot of things that people see on TV, from politicians, from just different like organizations, like I'll bring up ISIS, that gives such a bad representation to who we are.
Right.
Because they claim to be Muslims when that's something that Islam
they
represents.
don't even, like, that was one of the things that I read about. I was like, that's crazy and that's what people think when they think about Muslim. They're like, oh, ISIS, and they're like, not even close.
Because
Like,
a lot of the imagery that you see on television, though, it shows them in a bad light. If you ever look at, like, you know, Law and Order or whatever, if you see a Muslim guy on there, he has like a bomb strapped to his chest.
Right, instead of
and that's just, it's
So
so stereotype. It just, it's a stereotype, and I hate it.
You don't see them in a different light, so you just begin to associate that type of radicalism with Muslims in general. It actually reminds me of this old episode of The Real World.
everything you're talking about is freaking off of TV.
I know it does. It just reminds me. I don't remember what
message.
season. I don't remember what season it was, but it was this white girl that was on there, and she was like afraid to be in the house with a black guy. Because
Irene.
Why do I remember that?
You're talking about, was it the one where Irene and Steven were together?
I don't remember their names. I just remember
The situation.
the situation. Like I just remember because she came from like some little small town where there were actually no black people, and so she only saw black people on TV, and on the shows that she saw them on, they were like rapists
and violent.
and
oh
so
my
she was actually like, when they were to go to the house, she was like, I don't know about living with a black guy or whatever, you know, because she was thinking he might try to rape her or he was going to be on crack or whatever.
That's the thing.
So
stereotypes,
right?
like, yeah, they're huge. They take, like, I mean, you can't say every Muslim is a terrorist. The same way you can't say every black person is going to be a cheater or he's going to rape you or he's going to, you know, jump you or things like that. And you can't say Hispanics are illegal or Chinese people are smart. You know, it goes for every culture, every religion. So that's like a huge thing. People just base all their assumptions on a stereotype that was built by, sometimes it's their parents, sometimes it's friends, where they come from. Most of the times it's like media and what they see around them. Yeah.
It is mostly the media. Because like we talked in our last episode was about colorism, and we talked about kind of like my little girl, she's 4, and she wants a white doll. But it's because every little Barbie she looks at on YouTube is white. Yeah. You know, so it's not because someone's telling her, oh, bad, but it's just the imagery, which is almost worse than, you know,
like you always see it, so it's like, oh, this must be good. Right. Or this must be true because you always see that.
I mean, but she's a baby. But let's talk about these grown-ups. And I'm going to try real hard to not be disrespectful and cuss. All right. All right. I think it's a certain age. It is your responsibility. It is your duty to educate yourself. Right. If you're going to have an opinion, I don't care who you are, from the smallest, poorest man to the richest man, the biggest man, whatever. Like, educate yourself on it. I actually worked with a lady who said to me when Barack Obama was running the first term, when he was running for president, I got to work this day, whatever. We always talk about, you know, BS as we're starting our day because we have a daily meeting, whatever. So we were just BSing, talking about a bunch of nothing. And she told me, do you know my husband said he's going to vote for that Barack Obama? I said, okay, who cares? Like, I'm at work. I don't discuss religion and I don't discuss politics at work at all. So I don't care. Yeah, but he's a Muslim. I was like,
what?
The Hussein.
And I was just, but I was waiting on something else. I was like, okay, first of all, in my mind, I'm like, okay, he's not, but what's your point about saying, because I personally do have friends that are Muslim. So I'm like, okay. And then, of course, she's a white lady. So I'm looking at her like, where's the... I said he's a Muslim. I said, lady, today I had to walk away because today I just can't with you. But the sad part about it, and I guess my point for the story is, this lady is in her 60s. And she really is, like, for the job that we did, you know, you can't really be a dummy to do what we did. But this lady was, like, one of the smartest people, like, I have ever met, like, in my industry and whatnot. But I'm like, for you to be so smart, you are so dumb. Like, you are so ignorant.
Right.
To even, why would you say that? You know what I mean? Why would...
A lot of people are just straight closed-minded, and they don't even want to step outside of their box.
But low-key, her husband, I feel like he's mixed with something because he was, like, my color. I never asked her what. I mean, her husband was always like
was he
the
passing?
sweet, huh? Well, no, not really, not really. No, he wasn't.
What is your color though?
I
her
mean,
alone,
my
Danielle.
skin tone, and I'll know in about 7 to 8 weeks, and I'll let you know about that.
Did you do your thing?
I have mailed it in. I'm just waiting on. My cousin bought it for me for Christmas. Isn't she
We're
weird?
finally going to find out what your actual.
If I decide to tell you, are you touching me anyway? So
Live unveiling.
I know.
Please, let's do a video.
No.
And Daniel's going to be like, does it say Mesopotamian? Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you feel discomfort at times, you know, because you guys wear a hijab? Do you ever feel uncomfortable?
Personally, I've never had a discomforting feeling. I feel like a lot of it is, I would put it on like my strong faith. A lot of it is like, if you have faith that like God is with you and he's like behind you and you're being like a righteous person, then there's really nothing that
For you to worry
can
about.
get in the way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard, like, I have friends of mine that got their hijabs ripped off.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Serious?
And a school, like, 10 minutes from my house, a girl got her scarf ripped off. And things happen like that all the time. It's never happened to me.
That's so
Are you
Yeah.
serious?
It's
I'm
really
very
awful.
Yeah, there was actually news of a teacher ripping it off of a student's head.
teacher?
No.
A grown
Yeah.
adult.
Yes.
That is completely out
Yep,
of order.
losing my religion that day. Going to
Yeah.
school, fighting everybody.
That is
gonna happen.
unacceptable. You know, Danielle was just sharing with us earlier. Where did you find that?
It was on some website. I don't remember.
She found this comment. I guess it was like about moving to a certain area of town, and it was just talking about how negative some of the areas were in regards to their treatment of the Muslim community. It was really sad. And then I saw Sugarland. I know you guys lived in that area,
Right.
so yeah, I'm really not surprised to hear that about what's happening at school. But
Yeah.
it's so sad to hear that about kids.
Yeah.
You know, because it's coming from somewhere. And like you said, it's the parents or it's the media, and it's
They're
just like
uneducated ass parents.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
it's
so
almost
ignorant.
like we need like a sensitivity training in school. This is how you treat this.
Not
people.
even
Like,
that. Not even that. Just a matter of it's basic respect is what it is. It's
I
not
agree.
even about sensitivity. It's not even about I want to understand.
But some people don't have basic
culture-
respect in their home, though. So if you
Yeah.
don't get that at home, you're not going to go to school with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but here's the thing. If they're not going around hitting everybody else all day long and they're just picking on one person because they have a scarf on, like you're a little, excuse my language, you're a little asshole and you need to be beat up.
But that's like bullies, though. Like
Right.
a lot of time, kids that are bullies, they are bullied from their parents.
That's
so
fine.
that's
Right.
a learned behavior.
Well, I'm going to come
You know.
to school. Okay. No, I'm not.
So I mean, so I get what Michelle is
Yeah,
saying. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying,
so
it's a
like,
trickle down.
yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why I said, I mean, I know it's not the school's responsibility.
I mean, it kind of is.
It
though.
really,
Right.
yeah,
Because
it
they're
really
supposed
is.
to create a safe environment
Right.
For all students.
Like,
I
I
don't
would
care
have a major
what they look
problem
like.
Oh my
with
God.
my child going to school, and that's physical assault.
It
And
is.
if you go back to like America's history, like the First Amendment is freedom of religion, freedom of speech. And then you have people here that try to express themselves in what they wear or protesting and things like that, and they're getting ridiculed for it or humiliated, and it just looks bad on America itself. You
It
know,
makes
like
us look
so many
awful.
people from third world countries come to America for the American dream, and then they come here and it's
it's
nothing
treated
like they
crazy.
Right.
imagined.
You
Yeah.
don't belong here. though.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, that's the thing.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
go back to your country. I was
Right.
born here. I was born and
Right.
raised in Houston for all my
Like,
19
Girl,
years
same
of life.
thing.
Right,
Same deal.
exactly.
They tell us the same stuff. Oh,
Go back to
I'm like,
Africa.
what
Yeah.
country? I don't even know anybody.
I know.
I'm probably
Last
born.
time I checked, we didn't ask to be here.
You know? So it's like
Y'all just kind of brought us here and dropped us off.
It wasn't a
I'm just saying.
cruise ship.
y'all going to America? Let me
Let me chain you
to myself. Let's go, girl. Come on.
Chain you to your sister over here.
Yeah, it is exactly the same thing. I mean, and
100%.
yeah, like
Right.
you know, the whole founding principle of this country is like this country is for everybody, and the whole country is founded upon immigrants.
Right.
Like,
100%.
Even the ones who came here and said, go back to your country. Y'all didn't
even
come
though-
here.
You are not from here
I mean,
either.
exactly.
I mean, the
like,
people that founded the first 13 colonies, they didn't come from here. They didn't sprout from the ground. They came from
Exactly.
Europe.
But like
They
they
did
forget
not.
that immigration starts with them.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's like, no, this is us.
This is
Yeah.
our land that we rightfully stole
This is
we're
us.
not
from the
immigrants.
Native Americans.
We belong here.
Right.
And I think a lot of my comfort also comes from living in Houston because it's a super diverse
It is.
Yeah.
city.
It is.
And I go
Yeah.
to the University of Houston as
Oh,
well,
good.
and even there, it's
Oh yeah.
even
That
more
is one of the
diverse.
Yeah.
most diverse universities in the country.
it's like the
Yeah.
fourth most diverse university, and it's like you just feel comfort seeing that there's people everywhere,
Yep.
Yeah.
from different places. So you being like singled out, it's not.
It's not.
Right,
not
it's almost
something that's
impossible.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like there's an African sitting right behind you.
Right.
So it's
And
like totally
With the real spear
right. Shaka Zulu.
and no shirt.
But I think that that's like the most like important thing to people understanding one another. It's like
Yeah.
being around such diversity.
Right.
Because I mean you don't really fully understand that some things are actually a stereotype and don't really apply to everybody without actually meeting and talking to people
Yeah.
of different faiths, of different races,
And
backgrounds, and stuff
ethnicities,
like
yeah.
that.
Well, I went to a predominantly white school when I was and I mean there was very few of us. So the white kids were always like, stereotype, joke,
Right.
that's Sambo, like not funny. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Aw.
But we would
Yeah.
always be like, okay, because it's not funny. But when they're the majority, it's like you sort of just kind of feel like.
Yeah.
So I think what you're doing for those kids is really good
No, totally.
because
lot
that's
of
the time.
A lot of it falls back on knowledge. I mean, if we don't educate like younger kids and grown-ups,
right.
you know,
Absolutely.
because I mean, it's not even just Islam that follows like the head wrapping.
I
It's
know.
like in Orthodox Jews, they also have to cover their heads, and like nuns cover their hair and things like that. So I mean, it's like it's because like Muslims are the only one that like show it more than other religions do. It's like you
This
guys
is
are wrong.
practicing faith.
Right.
It's more so
Right.
the practice.
Yeah.
I think that's like it's visible practice that you see, and that's like a little bit of the difference between the faiths. Or whatever.
Right.
Agreed 100%.
It is, and I think a lot of the things that people associate with, Muslims are like not even just definitive to the religion so much as they're just like cultural differences or things like for different areas of. I had a word.
I know. I feel like you lost it and you're trying to find it. It's okay.
I had a word.
One thing that I did not know that I saw today is that like the largest population of Muslims or practitioners of Islam are in Indonesia. I had no idea.
Yeah, there's
Really?
a lot.
Yeah, I was like,
didn't know
really?
that either.
I was like, wow, I had no idea about that.
Right.
Me either.
But that's just like
You're educating yourself, though.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the
Going,
thing.
And
even-
everything's on the internet these days.
Right.
You
Yeah.
can't- there's not a single thing that you can't find on the internet.
Exactly. And like Danielle was saying, if you talk to people, blah, blah, blah. Well, some people that don't like to go out and meet and talk to new people, whatever. You can stay your behind home and, like you just said, Google it. Just
you can
read.
sit on the toilet with
You
your
can-
phone.
Seriously, because you
Yeah.
play Candy Crush on the toilet, don't you? No, I'm just joking.
But you
That's an
could.
inside
I mean,
joke.
you can.
But
Whatever
you can
wanna know,
find out. Yes, you can
it's
find
right
out
there.
anything. It's all of this knowledge has never been this readily available. I used to have to look into the encyclopedia for everything when I was a kid.
And your
I
parents
hated
had that
it.
Encyclopedia Britannica.
I got the whole set, like 3 years.
Don't try to write a paper.
Okay.
Don't have to.
You got 19 books
Oh,
spread across.
gosh.
I'm
Man,
in
these
middle
kids have
school.
it easy.
Yeah, they do.
They don't even understand.
And they don't even know how to use it. Terrence is like, Mom, what's the sky made of? I'm like, if you don't get on Google
Right? You got
and
that
ask
whole
Google.
phone and you
and
I
ask
make
whole
my
internet.
I make my daughter look up stuff. I bought a Merriam-Webster dictionary and thesaurus, and I make her use it.
Okay, so what do you guys think the most common misconception is about Muslim women and submission? Shatha, you tell us what you think first.
All right, so I think a huge thing also goes back to the headscarf. A lot of it is like, oh, she was forced to wear it by her husband, or else he would have beat her. That's like a huge misconception.
People think that.
People think that, and it's crazy. They're like, oh, she was forced to like follow God's orders. She was, it's a huge thing that like people just assume that women have no rights whatsoever in Islam, but actually women have more rights than men do, and no one knows that. So for example, all the earnings that a woman gets from her job, that's completely her money. She doesn't have to spend it on her family, her husband. That's totally her money, unless she decides to help out in one way or another. That's her choice.
I'm becoming Muslim.
I like that.
I'm going to the mosque.
This is my first step.
Going to the mosque.
Put the wine down
Where's
is
my
the second one.
Danielle's like, sign me up. Ready. Do you have the copy of the Qur'an?
Is
that
there
you promised
like
me?
a Muslim?
You eat
J-date?
bacon, so stop there. She's not going to give up bacon. Sorry. It's not going to happen.
I'm completely on board. Let's go. Let's go.
You're going to give up
There's
bacon?
a lot of things that people don't know about the rights of Muslim women because they just assume that men are like the dominant one in the family, and they just like say everything, and the woman has to do it, and the kids have to follow suit. But it doesn't work like that,
Yeah.
Oh, I
Women
know.
don't have to change their last name. In the divorce,
Really?
in the divorce, the woman gets everything.
Look at Mom's face over there. She's like, please.
She was like, y'all don't even know how I'm living over here. Y'all don't even know, honey. Yes.
No,
Oh my God.
yeah, in a
Tomorrow,
divorce,
Mohammed.
She is so stupid.
Lord and Savior.
Danielle, stop it. But you know what? That's what I'm saying. It's not about the religion so much as
Right.
those negative things that people think. A lot of that stuff is cultural or from different regions. It has nothing to do with the religion. Like, no one's telling people to beat up women.
that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, I always like say that the religion itself is perfect, but people are imperfect. You know?
Absolutely.
So when you give something perfect to an imperfect person, they don't know what to do with it.
They're going to
They just like pull bits and pieces that fit to them.
I just
But
want
I
to say
mean-
the F word so bad.
I know. I almost,
I just
I
wanna
was
say-
close, but I
F it up, F it up, F it up. But it's true. That's what
No.
they do.
Yeah.
You're 100%
You know?
right. I think one of the words I hate the most in the world when I watch the news, the few times I do, is a radical Islamist. And they say that word, and then they automatically link it with terrorism. And then the one thing that's always discussed in my household, when are they going to talk about the radical Christians?
Girl.
Like,
There
when
are
are they
none.
going
They're none.
Like
No,
the ones that
no,
show up at a movie
all of
theater
them.
and shoot
No,
it up.
more than any other different religion in the U.S. has the U.S. been attacked. It's always been Christian, and 9 times out of 10, male and white.
No, what was the guy recently?
Dylan Roof, dude, or no,
No, it was another guy in San
the shooting.
Antonio.
Oh,
no,
the
I'm
one who
thinking
went to
about
the
Vegas.
church
Went
to
to the
kill
church.
his mother-in-law. And
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they would not.
I
say
mean,
that
if
he
it's
was
a white
terrorist.
male, then he has a mental issue.
Right.
or-
Exactly.
Always.
It's
Always.
He's very
Always.
sick.
Yeah, very sick. He's-
Always.
That's always the case. But if it's like if he has a beard and it was probably a bomb, then it's like, oh, it's a radical.
Oh, it's
Right.
radical. Oh, put him under the jail.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
'Cause-
Like in one issue, you individualize it, and the other issue is like a whole big issue
Yeah.
with
I mean,
Like, what
even
was
on
that
Twitter.
race? Say again?
Sorry, even on Twitter, there's like they'll just have like a news headline or something, and it'll just be like black male with saggy pants and dark sunglasses and
Hoodie.
they'll just, hoodies, and like you
Yeah.
can't see his face. I mean, like they describe him like a monster, and then like a white male that killed like
Sad.
over 30 people. He's like, doctors say he has mental illness.
issue.
I mean, that's huge media
Yeah.
influence
yeah.
into
Loner.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
That's a good
Yeah, they try to
one.
make
They
you feel
always do
bad
that.
for
Yeah,
him.
like, oh,
Like
bullied
something is
child.
wrong. Yeah.
So is that the
abused.
explanation for all of these white people?
Like,
Are
is that what they said
mentally
about
ill?
Charles Manson? No.
He never killed anybody though.
No, he told, well, not told. I'm sorry. He said he never told anyone to kill anybody.
Yeah.
He was a
He kind
manipulator.
of orchestrated it like low key. I mean, he's
A manipulator.
Yeah,
he's also
very
dead.
manipulative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just recently.
I was about to
Yeah.
say, just happened.
Maybe he'll
But-
come to me in spirit form.
Why would you want that?
Don't even bring that. Don't even welcome that.
Strike that from the record.
I mean,
Allah
because
will not
he's
approve.
interesting.
I'm just
You don't think
saying.
he's interesting?
She's like, I'm gonna have ghost love with Charles.
But like
he
5
said-
seconds ago, she was converting to Islam. Like, make it make sense.
I still am
Man,
Muhammad.
Still am.
Muhammad.
Is there like
Come
a
to me.
reject stamp that we can put somewhere?
Seriously.
Don't even bring your application.
I'm going to mosque.
You are not welcome.
No, actually, we do a lot of interfaith things at the mosque that I go to. There's a church like across the street, so we do a lot of interfaith dinners and things like that. During Ramadan, you guys are aware of what Ramadan is. So during Ramadan, we had an interfaith dinner, and I actually saw my 3rd grade teacher there, which was crazy. But
Wow.
yeah, so there's people there. We just like invite people from the church to come have dinner with us.
She'll be there.
Yeah.
She'll be like, I'm ready.
Muhammad. Where is the Muhammad?
Muhammad.
Oh, he died? I'm sorry. Where's the second
Where's
Muhammad?
another one?
Oh my
Where's
gosh.
Allah Muhammad?
All of them. Just all of them. Just
All
run
of
them over here. Just line 'em
She's
up.
like, just anybody.
Just somebody.
I'm
Write
ready.
him up. Let me choose.
My body is ready.
And then she went, my money's my money though, right?
That is
And
so
your money,
cool.
our money? Okay, yeah, I'm in.
I
Sign
am
me
ready.
up.
I
Yeah.
am ready.
That is so amazing. Okay, because there's a thing right now. I don't know if it's just among black men and women, but people, period. But it's like, should people who cohabitate pay half the bills? And to hear you say, when a Muslim woman goes to work, she can just pocket all her cash, and he better not even suggest.
Did you
Man,
just
that is
ask me
cool.
for $1?
I'm sorry, I don't even I don't even
What?
know what money means.
The nerve.
Money,
I'm gonna go pray about you.
I ain't got it.
Something is wrong.
That's pretty cool. So, like, what do you hope to see in the future in regards to Islam and the relationship, you know, with people like, I don't want to say it, but like certain news channels and stuff that they, you know, try to paint.
Oh, like Fox News?
Okay, yeah.
I just hope to see like people becoming more open-minded, like willing to learn more, because a lot of people just like they're just like, oh, we heard this on the news, let's not learn about it because like whatever they said, then that's true, you know?
Right.
God, like, at what point do you want to? I just hate people who do not choose to at least try to educate themselves, to try to formulate your own opinion, because how can you formulate a proper opinion for yourself about anything if you're not all the way informed? You really think that the news is going to tell you any and everything, all the ins and outs of every situation?
Of course
Like,
not.
they never do. Like, I see a headline like pop up on, let's say, ABC or something, and then I'll literally go dig till I find like where the truth is. Like, let me find somebody who wrote something about this, and I'm going to find out what the truth is, because they're always going to report it the way that it spins to get them. Yeah,
It's
always.
because, like, you know, like ABC or CNN, like they write stuff or speak about stuff from a liberal standpoint.
absolutely.
And you have like your Fox News that's like
Extreme.
really uber conservative.
Mhm.
And I think that probably BBC is probably like right in the middle where they just kind of
or
like.
OAN. Have y'all heard of that?
I've never heard
I watch the Young Turks.
Uh,
That's my news source.
But you know,
They cuss.
like you're
I like
saying, oh, how can you make an opinion about, you know, stuff without being misinformed? Like, look at the leader of our country right now.
Yeah.
He doesn't do
Right.
anything but make misinformed statements
Absolutely.
and say words like bigly.
And he is the perfect representation of a lot of
Ignorance.
ignorant ass people, excuse my language, that reside here in the United States of America.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard to like ask for the truth from like people that are getting paid, like businesses and like the news, and it's hard to ask for the truth because I mean,
Absolutely.
they're paid to put on an act for people to
spin it.
follow.
Right.
That's
you know?
right.
But I would like encourage people to go out and look for themselves. You know, like if you know a Muslim person, then like ask. I'm always open to people asking me questions. When I first started wearing the scarf, they were like, "Oh, why are you wearing that? What is it for?" You know. People are curious, you know, when something's different, people are always curious about it. So I would encourage people to go out and like, you know, talk to people,
Have a
research.
conversation.
Yeah. I mean, get to
Yeah.
know what
At what
it
age
really
do you
is.
wear the scarf though?
So like formally it's supposed to be when you hit puberty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I started wearing mine in 8th grade. Yeah, so it's interesting to see like
Did
when
people
different
respond
people
to you
start.
differently once you started wearing it?
Well, I noticed I lost a lot of my guy friends.
Really?
Wow.
I did. I lost a
Really?
lot of my
Sorry.
guy friends. Yeah. Which I mean, if it's a good friend, they'll stay with you regardless
Absolutely.
of how you look, what you wear. You know.
Right.
But the guys was like, "No, I'm not here for that."
Yeah.
Right.
Which I mean,
She's now untouchable. Bye.
yeah.
Right.
No, thank you.
I mean, yeah. A lot of people are like, "Oh, it's just intimidating. No one wants to approach you." Things like that. But I mean, like the religion welcomes everyone.
Everybody.
You know.
Right.
So
And
it's
you
like it's
don't
never
seem
something-
unfriendly
yeah.
just because you're wearing a scarf. I wear scarves.
You know, when
I mean,
Trump
black
won,
women are really kind of Muslim. If you just really want to just go, I mean, because low key, everybody, you know, ties up their hair at night. You know, you got to wrap that all that hair in a scarf. So
It must be covered.
all every piece.
I mean, I don't know. I just
Especially
feel
the
like
Not yours. This is
got
period.
lay those edges down.
They got to be laid all the way down. Can't see
toothbrush,
nothing but skin.
edge control.
Just skin.
Oh my
Just
God.
skin right here.
What I
Just
was going
skin.
to ask is, like, when Trump did win, did you have any fears? Because I know that when he initially won, there were a lot of videos being posted on social media of people being very aggressive towards Muslim people and saying
Yes.
all kinds of crazy things like, "This is my country now. You know, you don't belong here. This is Trump's world," or whatever. Like, they were saying stuff like that. Like, did you have any fear? Did you have any issues like after he won or anything?
Well, the thing is, I believe you can't fight hate with hate, right? So if I'm receiving hate from the president, from Americans, from my neighbor, I can't be aggressive back towards that person, you know? So me personally, I was sort of afraid of like things like the Muslim ban that he was trying to put in play,
Right,
you know?
yeah.
Because I'm like, I was born here, like I'm a citizen of the United States, but there's potential that because I am Muslim, I could be kicked out. Or
Right.
if my relatives want to come visit, they won't
They
be
won't
allowed
able to
to.
come in.
Right.
You know, those are things that like that's that's a basic
a
need
fear,
to see your
yeah.
family or to live
Yeah.
in your
Right.
own country, you know? So that those were things that like get to me, and even like the wall with the Mexican border. I'm not Hispanic, but that concerns me because
Because
like,
it's like it trickles down,
Yeah.
right?
Right,
You know,
because
because
if
it
we do
starts
that-
at somebody else's door, and then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, it's coming to you next.
What was
Yep.
that thing? I forget. I feel like somebody said it. Whenever they came for such and such, it didn't bother me.
Oh, I remember that.
I mean, it's kind of corny.
Yeah,
but
it's
it
like
makes
when
sense.
when they came for the Jews, I didn't say anything.
Right.
Like when they came for the Muslims, I didn't say anything. And then they knocked at my door, and nobody else was there
Right.
to say anything for me.
Right,
It
because
was-
I
yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, because you didn't say
Kinda.
anything because you passed it all up for everybody
Yeah,
else.
and so
And so now there's no voice for
Right,
you
for
or whatever.
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's there's a thing that like just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean it's not happening.
Right.
Like if I don't like if I feel comfortable wearing a scarf doesn't mean that like my friend feels very paranoid all the time, or just because I don't experience racism doesn't mean my other friends don't experience racism
Right.
either. You know, so like
Yeah.
it's like this huge thing that you have to always be like consciously aware of everything that happens, because just because it doesn't happen to you, like the war that happens like in third world countries like Palestine, Israel, like people die every day, and we just get pictures of dead kids. I mean, we don't notice that because we're just living here, and it's
Right.
fine and it's
And it's just
peaceful.
a picture.
But I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
we're kind of desensitized to that
Yeah.
type of
We
stuff,
are,
though.
which is crazy because I mean, I don't know how it would feel to be like a news reporter that like all you spew is like, oh, 40 people dead, or some husband
it's
killed his
heavy.
wife and baby. Like
Right.
it's super heavy stuff.
And you're just,
And
You're
you're
just
just
like-
casually, and then they just move it up the
Yeah,
screen.
you're like,
and-
wow.
and moving on to sports, Bob.
Life's
Yeah.
just crazy.
Yeah.
You just talked about like 80 people
It's
dying. Are you
huge. We're
serious?
super desensitized
No,
to
I
it.
agree, 100%.
That's why, you know what? But that's literally why I stopped watching the news, because at one point I was like an avid news watcher. Like I was watching news every time I
Me
would
too.
go home
And put it on.
and I would put the news
That's
on
me.
and I would watch everything. I would see all the different commentators and whatnot or whatever. And then I realized I was like, damn, why am I sad? Like I don't
Because everything you're listening to is
Yeah,
horrible.
like,
Why am I?
There's nothing going wrong in my life, but I'm depressed.
I asked my first grade teacher, I asked her what she watched on the news. I remember this very clearly because my mom watches the news a lot, you know. But I asked my first grade teacher, I was like, what do you watch on TV? Or I asked her if she watched the news. She's like, no, it makes me sad. And it really does, because it's things that, like, they don't happen in your life, but you see it happen, and you're like, that actually happens to people.
And that's just
But, you know, it's the same story over and over with different people's names. It's like, this person died, this person killed this person, there was a mass shooting here. It's the same story over and over and over again. And, you know, you take that in, and it's just like, it paints you just such a horrible picture of what the world is really like, because you think that
that's all it is.
That's all that it is.
If you're taking
all of that in, and it's like, this is what people are really like, and people don't really care, and the world is really just drab and whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, why am I even here? Like, it just goes down.
It just goes down.
I'm instantly sad.
No, it does. It does. It gets to you like that. But there's good stuff everywhere. There really is. Like, I have trouble finding a lot of friends because I feel like a lot of people aren't good these days, you know. But there's good everywhere. You just have to, like, look for it, you know.
Be open to
if you
it.
want something, you'll go get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Rather than
You have to change your perception.
Yeah.
Danielle's been working on
perspective is really everything.
It reminds me of you, Danielle, working on your newfound happiness.
Yeah.
Stop watching the news.
Oh yeah, I don't watch news anymore.
Start baking cookies.
Stop wearing bras.
Like, how long are we going?
I don't know. I got a lot of years of that built up.
I mean, it was only last time.
I mean, it was one show.
You should have never done it. No,
but how many times have you come to my house with no bra on?
Okay, well, whatever.
I mean, it's pent up inside of me. I'm just saying, I have a lot of that to share with the world. They need to know.
You guys are crazy. So is there anything else you want to add?
Really, like, coming from a young, like, Muslim teen, like, there's so much you want to see in the world, you know? Like, you want to be able to travel, and you want to see people and meet people, but, like, when you hear things of, like, France, like, banning hijab, they don't let women wear hijab in France.
So what are you supposed to do?
Or,
don't go then,
I mean, even in your country, like, you know, your own homeland, like, here, America, where there's, like, people burn the Qur'an and people, you know, rip off scarves, and there's, like, things, and it doesn't just happen to Muslims. I have, you know, black friends, I have Hispanic friends. I see things on Twitter, and it's like black people getting stereotyped for no reason. Like Trayvon Martin walking down the street with a hood. The cop thought he was coming at him for wearing a hood. Yeah. You know, it gets you angry even when it doesn't happen to you.
Yes.
Like Hispanic people getting blamed for being illegal, but they're working for America. You're going to ban all the illegal immigrants, but they're working for you.
Right.
So then if you get rid of them, what are you going to do? Like, who are your workers?
Not have vegetables.
Exactly.
I mean,
your house dirty.
Who's gonna fix 290?
Right. First of all,
well, if you remember that one month of Podcast Brunch Club, we listened to a podcast on immigration, and there were a lot of farmers who were suffering.
Yeah, I remember that
because nobody wanted to farm their land.
You know, in Georgia, I can't remember where specifically, but I remember that. In Georgia, they had a really big problem because they were like, oh, we're getting rid of the immigrants or whatever like that. But in their farming industry suffered because of that. Yeah. And then they were like, oh, wait a minute, we didn't really mean it.
No, come back. No,
you know, because, I mean, like, a lot of those jobs, I mean, people, they come over here and they take those jobs first. And then they graduate and go to other stuff or whatever, right? You know, I mean, that's just like anybody that when you first go into the workforce,
right?
You know, you
I
take
mean,
whatever job you can
CEO.
get away. But that's but they are actually really handy. I mean, they are. That's just seriously. I mean, no, I'm just saying this because let me clean this up.
Yeah, because. First of all, you're saying a lot of they, like, oh, those people. You know how, okay, you know how you people are.
I mean, I've been to their country.
That's your friend.
That is your friend, Michelle.
No, but that is what they do. That's I know, right?
Braless Satan.
Let me stop.
No, I mean,
okay, but
we speak.
It's just, just Stop. Mute. Continue.
We say that America is built on immigrants, you know. It's built on people from everywhere. So I would just like choose people that you want to represent your country, you know, because
The right people.
I can't go to the UN and tell them what's right and what's wrong. I can't go across the world and say like, no, Donald Trump is wrong. This is what's right.
How we really feel here. Yeah.
Right. Like I can't do that. Individuals can't do that. When we vote as a country for one person, that has to be the smartest decision of your life, you know? Because that one decision, that one person raises taxes. What are you going to do? This one person kicks out illegal immigrants. Where are you going to go?
And then they represent you as a country as a whole.
Right.
And he does
The
not
shame.
represent anything about me.
Everything is politics, and people don't realize that. Politics is everywhere.
Right.
You know? So choosing something or get rid of stereotypes. I mean, educate yourself on what are people really like. I mean, not every Muslim is like people are like, do you hide bombs underneath your scarf? I said, really?
First of all, what size bomb are you?
I'm like,
talking
honestly,
about?
where?
Because how would you even? That's ignorant.
Why? Just
Yeah.
why?
Calculator.
I would just be like, yeah, I do, because you're so stupid.
I mean, there's like it's okay to ask
89?
questions,
It's in the
but there's
calculator.
like an extent to questions.
But the logic behind that.
I'd
Yeah.
watch that TI
Where
89
would you
though.
even place something like
I
that?
know.
Like, don't. Because to me, that's
Hints.
condescending. You
I
know
mean,
what
there's
As hell.
stereotypes kill everything for everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Seriously.
literally, there's so many Hispanic stereotypes. You know,
Right,
like
like-
oh, did you jump the border last night? Like it's just like little
I know.
comments like that get to you, and it's not even like you're not even that culture. You don't even represent them, but you're like, why are you saying that?
I mean, it's
Yeah.
offensive. I remember
It
when I
is.
was in middle school, there was a girl in my class. And her parents came from Mexico. I think she was born here. And even if she wasn't, in my business. Anyway, we had a fight one time because somebody called her wetback.
Yeah.
And she was very upset. And there was another kid. They both were last name Rodriguez, but her last name was like QEZ, and his was like with the G
With a
S.
G.
So it was like more Americanized. And she was like, "You're not gonna defend me," and it was so big. And he was just like,
I'm not in this.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
I mean, I'm this Mexican.
"Yeah." She was like, "Oh, I'm like this," and he's like that. So that's why he's not gonna.
No, yeah, and a
defend
big
me.
thing is like the Muslim community itself. That has to be united first before we can
Right.
like try to go out and unite everyone else. I mean, if there's like issues between the different sects, you know. So it's
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah. So if that's not settled,
Oh, y'all set tripping?
I'm so tired of her.
Okay, I'm
So
gonna take.
embarrassing.
We're just gonna take her mic away.
Ishmael's gonna be like,
Unplug
"You're fired."
it. You are so fired. I'm Donald Trump in your ass. You're fired.
But can you explain that a little bit?
She
though,
said
the issues
sex.
between them?
so
Ain't not her said tripping.
She said sex. And
Oh.
you said, "Oh,
Like-
y'all set tripping like they're about to start sea walking."
Oh, okay.
Ma'am.
Ma'am, sect.
Oh, sorry.
it's okay. So I'm Sunni. The other one is Shia, right? So there's just like minor differences in the belief system, or like minor differences in like in what who they follow. You know, so we follow the Prophet Mohammed,
Your man.
and they'll follow some like his sons, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like
Okay.
things like that. But there's like, you know, like genocide, like murders going on between both the sects, and when you look at it, you're like, that's not what Islam represents. So Muslims
As a
themselves,
whole,
yeah,
right?
Muslims
Yeah.
themselves have to like sort of recheck their reality, you know. And I say this to myself too, because if I'm aggressive towards someone else, that looks bad on not just me, that looks bad on my religion as well.
Wow.
Okay, wait.
You know?
So there are followers of Muhammad, and then there are followers of Muhammad's children.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I mean, they all fall under Islam, but just like Christianity has
Yeah.
like
Different
like
denominations.
Yeah.
Pentecostal
Lutheran,
and
Yes.
Baptist.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
just like
It's
that.
all the same persons. Just shut up.
It's just minor things that make differences, but like as humans, we like to be extra, so they make
Yeah.
such like a big difference, you know.
Love each other, help,
And I'm going to
shut
be
up.
on top, so that's why there's the...
Yeah. So if we
the beef.
if we exude, like if I'm over here telling you guys that we are huge fans of unity and we like including everyone regardless of how you look, what you wear, what you believe in, like we're open to everyone. I believe that strongly. You know, and that's what Islam represents. It's peace, it's strength, it's faith, it's things like that. But within our own community, we have to show that as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and we actually mentioned some of the same things when we talk about, like, you know, changing the views on colorism, but because it's like, you know, we're constantly making fun of each other and joking and calling each other light skin and dark skin.
Yeah.
We have to come together first. So, yeah,
Right.
that's totally important. Well, I'm officially tipsy. So,
So the moral of the story is check yourself before you check somebody
yeah.
else.
And
What's
before
that
you
song?
check,
Before you
check
wreck yourself.
Yeah.
Before you wreck yourself.
Don't set trip.
Yeah. And don't
Oh
sex
my
trip.
God.
Or sex trip.
Muhammad is not pleased.
Muhammad is frowning.
He is not pleased.
And one other big thing, I feel like people sort of, we believe in Jesus and we love Jesus just as much as Christians
Whoa,
do.
wait, pause. Really?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
dummy.
So we believe that Jesus is a
I feel
prophet.
like you waited to drop that bomb
I did.
on
I
us.
waited till the last
Oh
second.
my God.
All right. So
okay, so I can
That's a
believe in
win.
Jesus and Muhammad.
I don't like
okay.
it.
So
Ma'am, turn her mic off now, please. Off now.
all right. So we believe that Jesus is a prophet of God, not his son. Right. So we believe that God has no parents and no kids.
Okay.
Right? And so
I feel like I can still get on board with this.
I feel like Danielle is really about to convert.
She likes bacon
She's been
too
looking
much.
for her spirituality.
I mean, the bacon part is a little sketchy, but I mean, I feel like I can sneak it.
Sneak it.
Muhammad already just told me that you can't do that.
Muhammad said you can't do that.
Him said no. Like, oh
so
my
yeah,
God.
so we believe in the resurrection of Christ.
Okay.
There's a lot of
so
I mean,
y'all
there's-
I am
celebrate
mind
Easter
blown
and
right
everything?
now.
okay, we only have 2 holidays. We just have Eid. So there's one after Ramadan, which is like we celebrate being able to eat again, basically.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, like to break our fast.
Okay.
in the,
and
in
then-
the daytime, right?
Yes.
Wait, how long does this fast?
Okay, so it's a month long,
30
but we
days.
fast
Oh,
we
yeah.
fast from dusk to dawn. Yeah.
That's where
So
you
when
have me
is it?
fucked
Like
up
they,
at.
Sunrise
no,
to
they,
sunset. So-
but they eat and celebrate and party in the evening. It turns up in the evening.
Yeah,
Okay,
so like
okay.
in the what my siblings and I do, we'll
Yes.
like we have to wake up super early before the sun rises to
Tea
eat,
breakfast.
Okay.
Yeah.
right? And then when the sun rises, we pray and then we usually go to sleep. And so my siblings and I will sleep till like 4 o'clock.
So you
And
sleep
then
through
get
the
up
day,
and
so
then-
you while you fast and you sleep.
Right.
I'm
mean,
still on board.
That's not what you're. That's not what that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to like wake up and actually like feel what it is to be like hungry,
Hungry
and
and
things. So
reflect
it's sort of to like reflect on all the things that
You
God has
dream
given
about
you.
the fast. I feel like that's
No, it's to remind you to be thankful.
Thankful,
for things.
yes.
You should have
that
told her
things
that because
right for
now
your
when she's
food
a
and
new
blessings,
Muslim,
yes.
this year for Ramadan, Danielle's gonna be like, okay, I'm about to take my
I'm
Ramadan
just waiting.
nap.
See, she
Just
can't
wait.
even say it. It's a lie.
Just
It's a lie.
waiting.
And it
Lie.
changes every year. So it goes back 10 days every year. And so in 2017, it was in June.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I got.
So then it would be
in
May?
summer.
Yeah, it would be
Oh,
May
okay.
this year.
What a great month. It'll be there.
Oh my.
Yeah.
This is often. Introduce me to Muhammad at mosque.
Do not. No. No. Don't do
You
it.
do know that this
She
Muhammad
eats
they're
swine.
talking about is not an actual man, right?
No, there.
No, she means a man named Muhammad.
A man named Muhammad. I mean, I know that he is already deceased.
That's why she's like, give me Muhammad number 2. Like, she
Or
don't.
4. And
I can't.
Yeah, let's.
Please.
Can he
please
be
stop.
darker skinned though?
Can he be darker skinned with hair like wool?
I want a Muhammad with no chest hair.
Okay, so did everybody?
This is not buildamuhammad.com. Like, she's like Build-A-Bear. Is she trying to build a Muhammad? Is she for real?
That's what I
There's
want.
no way.
I'm
There's
so
no way. Oh
ashamed.
my God. Please stop now.
So what did you guys think
are
about the
drunk.
wine then?
I actually liked it. I think that it tastes pretty much like a Sauvignon Blanc.
But it's not, isn't it?
It's not
It's
a
not a
Sauvignon Blanc.
Sauvignon
I feel like it's just a Argentinian Sauvignon Blanc. I mean, it's pretty crisp. It's got like a lemony flavor.
It does.
It's adds the acidity, and it's dry, which are all the things that I like in a Sauvignon.
You would like dry.
I was about to say
Dry.
dry,
Y'all say that all the time.
lemony, so bitter, dry and bitter. Like
Whatever.
Oh, face ass.
Whatever.
Oh, Sharada, what about you?
Oh, so I give it a 22.
Did we?
I thought I should just make an up.
I did not like the smell of the wine at first. Like it's like kind of had a musky smell. But everything else, like I said, the acidity, the dryness, the crispness, like I like that. So that's why I give it a 20.
I did not
Did
like.
it 22 or 20?
A 20? Are you for real?
Wow.
I don't
Yeah.
remember. I don't remember which number I said.
That was like literally 3 minutes ago.
I don't remember.
Not even. 22.
22.
Somebody help her.
Sharada,
All
what
right.
about you?
Not me.
That's why they don't drink. You see?
You see? Bad deeds. Anyway.
I feel like it was good.
I don't like the high level of acidity in this wine. I don't like acidic things. Well, I do, but just not this much. It kind of puts me in the mind of a Pinot Grigio, which I absolutely hate. That is my...
Is it a Pinot Grigio?
It's
Oh.
not. No, it's just
Oh, it's
Chilean. It's an
a
Argentinian
Rioja.
wine.
No, that was the last one.
That was the region?
That was the last episode wine.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just going to
It's
stop.
Plebus. Phoebus?
Yes.
Phoebe?
what you said.
Torrentes. Torrentes. Torrentes.
Okay.
Oh
let me hurry up
my
and
God.
score it so I can
Torrentes.
turn this off.
Torrentes.
Illiterate ass people. This is the longest episode on earth. Anyway, I am not happy with the high amount of acid in the wine. I do not like
Green eggs in
the after. Sam, I am. Anyway, I don't like the aftertaste, so I'm going to give this wine an 18.
I hate it. 20. That's what you just said.
No, because it does have a good flavor, but the aftertaste sucks, and I don't like the acid, so I'm in betweenst. I mean, hell, it's at least
Are we
still
in
a.
slavery times?
It's a
13.5%.
13.5%.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're new slaves.
I'm gonna give it a
Didn't
15.
Kanye tell y'all?
You give it a 15? You changed your score?
I never had one.
She never had one.
I thought you said 20.
That was
I
a
just said
joke.
18.
I was
Oh
just
my
messing with her
God.
because she gave it a really sort of high score after
The
she
18 is not high, though.
a 10 is what you get.
You get like
automatically.
17 for being over 12% alcohol. So that's just that.
Are you,
Like, let's
are you
start
sticking
there.
with 15? Because I already added the numbers.
Yeah, I'm good at
And
15.
you know she can't do that twice.
Exactly. I already did it twice. I can't do it a third time.
Okay.
So
This
I
is the
was-
first time you try to, am I
So it's
22
a
or
18.
20?
Wait, what did I just say?
Help me out again.
What did I say?
It's an 18
You know
overall.
What did I say?
I don't know what I
You know
said.
what I'm saying? Okay. All right. Well, thanks for listening and join our Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. Search Between Us Girls in the groups. That's all I have to say about it.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on Between Us Girls. But don't keep it a secret. Listen and share with everyone you know. See you next week.